Everything that you're about to see is real.
Oh my god.
We have a poltergeist in the house.
So yeah, this is a warning to all you guys that don't want to see this. Just turn it off because this is crazy. Living in the house, we have Jamie and Susan up here. They're mother and daughter. We also have Matt and Marie, but they didn't want to appear on camera. Immediately after they moved in, strange things started to happen.
Oh my god.
But then we started finding things stacked or arranged in certain ways. I thought that Marie was doing it. At this point, we started taking pictures of everything because we wanted proof.
Every day, the house is getting completely ransacked.
Everything was twisted and pulled out or on the floor.
This would make them turn on each other because they're like, who is doing this? Things are being written on the walls, food is on the walls.
Oh my god.
After a few weeks of this mayhem, they just come to the conclusion, they're like, yep, we have a ghost. And eventually, running out of solutions, they decide that they should offer it something. So they look around and they find this cute little glass cat. So the mother and daughter set up a little seance, they get a cat on a table, light some candles, and Matt is not happy. And things are about to turn really bad. All the stuff you just saw, it is nothing. Just wait.
He was very much against communicating with it. He was very much against giving it a gift. He called it talking to the devil.
Honestly, I don't want
I was making an effort to change things.
Matt just got really angry.
Matt, Daddy, don't do that! Dad, don't you dare!
It's enough of that.
It was one of those times where you just can't believe what you see before your eyes. I know it landed in the field. I saw it.
This is where it all hits the fan. This spirit is not happy and they find that cat is being written everywhere. Cat, cat, cat. Not only that, but as they are cleaning, they find this huge footprint. This is the real picture. A few days later, Marie was at the house by herself, unfortunately, and she was watching TV when it began to flicker. She reached for the TV remote, but as soon as she did, it flew away and hit the wall. And then a rocking chair to her right began to rock back and forth, as if something sat down and was now staring at her. At this point, she is frozen in fear, but she has her digital camcorder at her side. They always had them at their sides because they just wanted to capture this footage. She snapped a few pictures, and this is what she captured. The story gets much crazier. There's an incident at the end that is just horrible. I'm gonna cut this one off here though because I'm at the 3-minute mark. So I'll probably make part 2 tomorrow. Just let me know what y'all want, if y'all want part 2. And yeah, part 2 is pretty crazy. And yeah, I could get it done tomorrow. So yeah, just let me know. Alright, peace. Welcome to part 2 of the most terrifying documented haunting. This episode is going to cover the last day that the family had at this house. This was by far the worst day for activity, and unfortunately, Jamie would be left all alone. It is extremely hard for her to tell the story because of the trauma she went through.
It's hard to relive all of this.
As she waited for her parents' return, she barricaded her doors shut. This gave her some sense of safety, although as her mother would say,
She was wrong.
This pounding started on my bedroom door. It was so loud. I was actually frozen in fear.
Jamie backed into a corner of her room as this creature banged and banged. This went on for 3 hours. She was so terrified she couldn't even move. Being in a life or death situation, she makes the decision that she has to do something. Jamie cautiously stands and creeps towards her door. She reaches her hand towards the doorknob, knowing that she is about to face her nightmare. But as soon as she's about to touch it, the banging stops.
Right before I opened the door, it would stop.
Eventually, Jamie worked up the courage to fully open the door, and what she found was terrifying.
I opened the door. There was just a giant hole. It looked like a battering ram hit the door. And the doorknob was bent.
Pots, pans, hammers, anything it could to smash the door. To the right of her room in the hall, there was a bathroom. The lights were flickering and the bathroom did not have a doorknob. Jamie knew she could feel that this creature was now in the bathroom. Panicking, she ran back into her room and opened her drawer. It was there that she found a string. She ran back to the bathroom, looped the string through the door, pulled it shut, and leaned back against the wall. In this moment, she was absolutely petrified. As the door began to tug and pull, she knew that she was about to come face to face with her nightmare.
I started feeling it pulling on the string.
Stop it!
I was freaking out because I figured that once that door opened, I was gonna see something from my nightmares. Some demon. It was gonna come at me. I knew that there's nothing I could do to stop it.
As the bathroom door started to creak open, her room door slammed in her face. She fell back, utterly defeated and petrified. As the creature came out of the bathroom, she could hear it tearing the house apart. It was mad and it was going to make her so. She could hear it crawling on the walls, grabbing every drawer and item in the house, throwing it and tearing it apart. Knowing the power that this creature possessed, she knew she had to run. As her survival instincts fully kicked in, she swung open her door. Her entire house had been covered in toilet paper. Not only that, but a fire had been lit on one of the toilet paper rolls. The roll was awake and all the paper strewn about her house was fuel to burn it down with her inside. She ran through the maze of toilet paper and made it to her front yard where she sat defeated. After this, the family accepted going bankrupt and they never stepped foot in the house again. The craziest part about this is not only they left, but 5 houses in the vicinity also left. We can assume that this creature or demon was going door to door, and no one would purchase any of these houses. It terrorized all of these families, and they had no choice but to leave. You're about to witness the real footage of the Sallie House hauntings.
Oh, crap.
This story is about a demon disguised as a little girl.
There's a little girl that's standing right there.
Let's get into the story. Trigger warning because this is a very scary true ghost story. Everything from the evidence to the sound design to the storytelling, doing this to let you experience the fear that these families went through. So if that's not something that you want to see, then this video is not for you. But if you do like that, then this video is perfect. It's 1992 in a small town called Atchison in Kansas. And it is here where we find a beautiful house. This house was built in the 1800s, and married couple Tony and Deborah Pinkman decide that they should move in. They just had a baby, so they built a nursery upstairs. But then the strange thing started happening. Doors flinging open. You take a picture of the door and something is floating in the doorway. The wax on their candles is going up. Not down with gravity, the wax is going up. The lights are flickering, and every picture that they try to take has these strange, blurry apparitions. Then they would discover the pentagram that resides in their basement. So at first, they just put up with this. But one night, Tony got home from work. As he walked upstairs to Deborah, he was suddenly hit by something that felt like a truck. It hit him so hard that he flew out of his laced boots. It then pinned him down to the ground. He was fighting to move, but he couldn't. And all Deborah could do was stand in silence, because she was too scared to even scream. When Tony could finally stand, he felt his back burning. And that's when Deborah watched scratches form in front of her eyes. These would be the first of many that would scar him for life. And when this entity began to light fires on their newborn baby's clothing and items around the house, it became too much to bear. Later that night, they went to bed. But then they began to hear groaning and whispering. As they laid in the dark behind their heads from inside the wall, they would hear the tormented sounds of something. Then they would hear their door creak open, creak back shut. They could then feel the presence of something standing over them, and they wouldn't get any sleep. Then they would hear their baby cry. But they were so absolutely terrified that they couldn't even stand to check. It's not just the fact that something is in your room, it's the energy that it carries with it. They would make it through these horrible nights. And during the day, every time they walked up the stairs, they would pass through this electric energy that was so powerful it would burn your skin. You would hear the pops of static and then feel a slow burn as it carved up your back, leaving deep scratches. Now, this story is going to have a part 2, and part 2 is absolutely crazy. The craziest paranormal evidence I've ever seen, because a crew comes over to investigate. A crew of skeptics, I might add. And they are all dumbfounded. Because as they talk to Deborah and Tony, they watch scratches form on his face. And everyone keeps getting shocked. As the cameramen walk around, their legs and hands are getting shocked. Words are getting carved into Tony. The things that they capture on audio and camera. This story is completely bizarre, and I am so excited to be sharing it with you guys. I'm just gonna leave it for part 2. I'll catch you later.
This is July the 30th.
Today's story is not going to go how you expect at all. To start, we are going to go to Seattle and step into a house owned by a man named Keith. Keith has a girlfriend named Tina, and they've been having some very weird experiences. His 400-pound couch keeps getting flipped over. His Bibles and crosses are being burned. He's finding writing on his walls, the number 666 and these strange symbols. His cabinets are being flung open, and the house is getting totally ransacked.
But just thrown everywhere. Walked in, the table's on the floor. I haven't been home too long before I realized.
Obviously, Keith and Tina are freaked out, so they reach out to a priest. The priest comes by and tries to open the door, but when they do, it feels like it's welded shut. Keith is on the other side, so he tries to open it, but in his words, he said it feels like an elephant is blocking the door. Obviously, when I found this case, I was extremely excited. You never see anything this intense. The only thing I can think of is the Long Island haunting. But something is off about Keith and Tina. I noticed that they seem barely affected by this. If you look, they don't seem traumatized, they don't seem scared, they seem barely affected.
You don't believe that you've ever been fully possessed in this house?
Never been possessed, no. Now, we've had eerie feelings. I mean, I don't know if that's being possessed.
So this entity's never personally attacked you?
No.
They're like, yeah, we got some scary stuff going on, but it's okay. When you look at cases where people are seriously affected by demonic forces, just retelling the story will send them into a panic attack and trigger intense PTSD. And when this happens to people, they will not step foot into the house. They will go bankrupt to get out. Because when there is a spiritual force that is that powerful, it would completely tear you down. So that's why when I was looking at Keith and Tina, I was like, this doesn't seem right. So I put on my investigation hat and I did some more digging. And I found that Ghost Adventures actually did an episode on this exact house. And it is hilarious. So I'm gonna show y'all that. But I don't want to judge too fast because maybe Keith is just like really tough, you know what I'm saying? But I don't sense genuine energy from these two.
Claims here of some demonic activity in your house. I know you two have asked for help, and we're here to do our investigation. We got 4 cameras going on inside of your house.
So the Ghost Adventures team pulls up. The first thing they do is send Keith and Tina inside the house. And Keith and Tina do it with no hesitation. They begin to walk around and ask if anybody is there. But the way they're behaving and saying things makes it seem like they don't have any fear and they don't expect anything to be there.
Okay, talk to me, Ghost. Here's your day. Talk to me. This is Keith. Where you at?
It's amazing how quiet you are today.
You and I have been having a 5-month back and forth, pretty intense stuff.
Time for you to go.
What is going on?
What's here that you want so bad?
They do this for a long time and absolutely nothing happens. So then the Ghost Adventure team decides that they should go in. And they don't feel anything in the house. But Zach does pick up one thing. And that's that Tina is scaring him. And at one point she keeps walking towards him and it freaks him out. The only weird energy in that house is Tina.
What is your name?
Jesus.
Was the house built on top of you?
Very weird vibes all around. Now, I wasn't gonna make a video on this, but I decided to make it anyways, because most of the stuff out there is fake. So I really do my work to make sure that I'm telling a good, true story. But I just thought this one was kind of funny. They definitely cap it. But I will leave you with this, because one scary thing did happen.
My most terrifying experience throughout our entire investigation is this bug crawling on my face.